Water is life. Welcome to our program, Facing the Events of the Farm. I am with Jordi Combalia, a person who has been in Colombia for 9 years, trying to give solutions to all our pig farmers on a fundamental issue, the importance of water in the farms. Jordi, thank you for being with us.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Jordi, what problems can be found on a farm when water is not in optimal conditions?
Source waters are usually contaminated. I have been, as you said, 9 years in Colombia and I have not yet found any source water, whatever its origin, that does not have a degree of contamination. Degrees of contaminations can be higher or lower, and many times pig farmers work with these waters, even with solutions that are not entirely appropriate and continue with the contamination. What happens is that if the animal is in perfect health conditions, maybe the contamination that arrives to the water is not the one that causes serious problems. When does the problem appear? When animals are under stressful conditions, transportation, feeding changes, weaning, in all these cases, including diseases that can come from a virus to the farm that lowers the levels of self-defense of the animals, in those moments is when the contaminated water, even with slight levels of contamination, can cause these intestinal dysbiosis, these intestinal problems that manifest themselves in diarrhea. What do they usually do? Medicate. When diarrhea appears, they put antibiotics and medicate. This, in my opinion, is a serious mistake because when we medicate, we already have the disease. Some death has already been caused. The animal has already stopped producing for a few days, and on top of that, we have put the cost of the medicine. If we make a previous and correct treatment of the water, even in moments when the defenses are low, if the water is not contaminated, it will not affect the intestine of the animals in a serious way. What other solution do they offer? Well, I medicate preventively before the disease arrives. Another mistake, because we're spending a lot of money, medications are expensive. We are given a medication to kill some pathogens that are in the intestine, but it turns out that in the intestine we also have a saprophytic microbial flora that helps the digestion of the food, and with this antibiotic kill it. So the animal is from 3 to 5 days until it recovers this flora. Those 3 or 5 days are days that will lose productivity. In other words, we have spent money on medication, we have lost productivity, and in the end, by giving so much medication, what we're causing is resistance, that when we need that antibiotic for a more serious disease, it has no effect. Therefore, a good water treatment to guarantee water sanitation or intestinal sanitation will bring us many benefits at a very low cost.
Jordi, you are then involved in water treatment, in very simple words, in the purification of water. But some pig farmer or some other farmer will say, in my farm or in my livestock farm, the water comes from the aqueduct. So the water from the aqueduct is already treated, for example, with chlorine. So how do you operate there?
Even in water analysis that we have done on water that comes from aqueducts already treated with chlorine, there are usually problems. First, because chlorine, although it has been an element that has been used for drinking water purification for many years, it has been shown that it's not enough. It's not efficient enough to eliminate all types of microorganisms. And also the ideal treatment with chlorine is a bit complicated. Chlorine needs pH control. It needs to work with water that it's a pH below 6 for it to be very effective. Chlorine is also thermally dependent, that is, at high temperatures, if it does not evaporate quickly and also reacts very quickly with organic matter, so working with chlorine is really complicated. Let's say that the systems that we provide from 6 biodegradable biocides are much more effective, much more stable, and much more efficient.
And what are the solutions that you are providing to the pig sector in Colombia?
We work with a product called Aqua6, which is based on peroxide and highly stabilized hydrogen, to which silver has been added in colloidal form that helps the effectiveness of peroxides in terms of sanitation, in terms of being biocide. It also incorporates a core that we call entero 6, a core based on pyroxy acids and citrus extracts, which provide a very optimal intestinal health for the proper microbial flora in the intestine, preventing the development of pathogenic flora.
This is very clear because generally, Jordi, when working on peroxide issue, many people will say, well, that's easy, I'll come and buy peroxide and add it to the water.
Yes, the problem is that the peroxide has to be very well stabilized and very well suited. Besides, the program we offer is not just a matter of you put this product in and that's it. We do a complete analysis of the water. We provide solutions prior to the use of biocides, and then we adapt it with an automation system so that the program works properly. And with this, we also do maintenance and follow up to achieve success in water purification and animal welfare.
It was quite a challenge what you found in this farm, because you find here where the water is collected, that it comes from 3 sources. Obviously, the water here comes with a lot of microbial load, so it is quite a challenge for you to work here.
Yes, the challenge was the microbial load and above all the physico-chemical conditions in which the water arrived. The water arrived here with a surplus of iron, but it was not always continuous. Sometimes more, sometimes less, because water sources are not always continuous. So the challenge was important because we had to make several analyses, several follow-ups to provide a work protocol that was perfectly adapted and that maintained perfect microbiological conditions of the water. As I said before, chlorine is pH dependent, thermal dependent, it reacts with organic matter, and for example, in a tank like this, if you pour chlorine directly, you will not get results. So the important thing is to study well, very well, what type of water we get, what conditions are in the farm, what storage system it has, and provide the right solutions.